There we go. Ladies and gentlemen, everybody in between, welcome, of course, to the SYN Shop podcast. I am the Mighty Pong.
I'm Krux.
And?
This is Zenifi.
There he is. And on tonight's show, we're going to be talking about space. Now, I don't know what your favorite thing about space is, but mine's space. So we're going to be talking a little bit about space and the usefulness thereof and all kinds of other fun spacely topics. But before we do that, we have to have a quick announcement on the shop. Now, the SYN Shop is a makerspace. This show is presented on behalf of the SYN Shop, which is a maker hackerspace located in Las Vegas, Nevada. Now, we offer tools and equipment that you can use to make pretty much whatever you can think of. Now, we're currently closed for renovation, so you're going to have to wait just a little bit to come check out the shop. But our members are currently working as hard as they can to get the shop back in action just as soon as possible. Now, if you are in the Vegas area and you'd like to help, join our Discord and check out the shop build-out channel to see what you can do to help the shop get back in action. In order to join the Discord, you can hit up synshop.org/Discord to find the latest information. And to make sure that you're notified of future events, including virtual ones just like this one, you can join us at meetup.com/SynShop. And with that was a really clunky read, but you know what? It is what it is.
Getting your drink? I don't know if that's true.
No, I did. And that's the problem. It's either too much or not enough. One of the two. Here, let me get rid of the...
Wow, I look
rainbowy. Yeah, we got you. Boom.
Yeah, I was about to ask with my little preview window that I see, where's my little icon? You got your little icon in your lower right.
You got to add it on.
I mean, you got to put in your icon. Are you guys feeding that through yours?
He started it.
I have OBS, so
he started it. So
wow, I've always had an icon.
Wow. I know.
I usually feed through OBS as well, but because we had some little finicky stuff, I panicked and just routed my webcam directly to this instead. So I can't do my fancy stuff anyways at the moment. But now that I know this is an option, there's going to be new icons.
Oh, there will be icons, I promise.
The icons will come.
So, speaking of designing on the fly, space and rockets and stuff. So for those that aren't aware, on the date that we're recording this fine program on March the 5th, I believe it is, there was a rocket launch earlier this week.
Yesterday, in fact.
Was yesterday?
Or was it? Oh crap! Was it yesterday? I seriously cannot remember. No, it must have been Wednesday. Yes, it was Wednesday. Dude, it's been a week. I think it was Wednesday. There was a rocket launch at SpaceX's Boca Chica launch complex in South Texas. It's SN10, and I guess I'll just describe really quick what SN10 means.
Yeah. Let me to give you a quick intro here. One of the reasons that I did want to make sure that we covered this topic while you were on is because I know that you're a huge fan of space, space exploration and SpaceX specifically. So that was one of the reasons, so you can walk us through what were they trying to do and why does that matter? So go ahead.
Why does it matter? Why was this one important? Go ahead. The test vehicle that launched on Wednesday was SN10, and it's for Starship Number 10. I mean, originally people started thinking it was for serial number 10, but it's kind of interchanged at this point. So Starship Number 10, it was the 10th one that they developed, and it's chain so far. And this one was the first one to land successfully for a brief amount of time before it exploded. I think it was 5.5 minutes later or about. And that's a whole other reason why it exploded. But yeah, it was their 10th one, and they were testing their flight profile again, like what they did for SN8 and SN9. Their belly flop maneuver. They learned in the last two that you need to relight more engines for their landing burn, because if you don't do that, as Elon Musk put it, they were too dumb, and it just crashed right into the ground.
So belly flop maneuver and flight profile.
Yeah, missed the Earth.
or mispredicted where the Earth would be.
Fair enough. So what is the point of all the SNs? Like the belly flop maneuver, flight profile?
So the whole point of this program is to get us to Mars. The program developed with the point in mind of bringing humans to Mars. That's what this vehicle is going to be. Is going to be to transport equipment and humans. But now it's kind of evolving, and it'll also be doing like moon missions. Most likely, there's renders of the Starship docking with the International Space Station, but I don't think that's going to happen. Just because why? It's not necessary for what its purpose is. And it also is going to be like the way it lands and re-enters atmosphere and stuff like that is completely different. So when I mentioned that belly flop maneuver, they're testing how the vehicle reacts or does when it's coming in, through an atmosphere completely flat, but it never actually came down at what a returning spacecraft would do right now, where they need massive types of heat shielding, where this one will still have heat shielding, but it'll be coming in much slower. So they're able to build the rocket out of different materials. So this one's going to be out of steel, like all steel, which is not typical because it's so heavy and it doesn't react well to intense heat for a long duration.
Yeah, it gets brittle.
But that's not it's not the goal of this this vehicle.
So so coming in. So what you're saying is that by coming in, the ship kind of comes in like parallel to the ground instead of trying to land. Trying to go feet first, if you will. It's more like you said, a belly flop.
So right now, what SpaceX does is a lot of people see their Falcon 9 rocket coming in vertically straight down.
Okay.
And it just relates its engines, and then it folds out some landing legs and touchdowns, usually in the ocean, on a drone ship that's just called the Don't Worry, I Still Love You, or something like that drone ship. I can't remember. Elon named it, of course.
I'm sure there's a story behind that.
Of course, I Still Love You.
Yeah, Of Course I Still Love You, and then there's another one, and I don't know. They're all interesting. But yeah, so the Falcon 9 usually comes in vertically, but the goal of this one is not to do it vertically. It comes down horizontally, and then it relights its engines to kick itself to be vertical really, really low to the ground, and then it's supposed to soft touchdown. This one didn't.
I mean, it kind of bounced a little.
It had a little bit of a bounce, and then it created a pocket under there, and in a way, and the fire suppression system couldn't get to it, and that causes intense amounts of pressure, and then boom.
and then boom, yeah. So once you're past the outer edges of the atmosphere, what's the advantage? Well, I guess at that point there's more air there, so there is more of a point to staying parallel to the ground because you're creating more drag.
From where they're coming in, it's basically to slow it down much quicker instead of having to use additional fuel or anything for a landing burn like that. Because the Falcon 9 starts its landing burn way earlier. It uses way more tons of fuel in the process. I think because the Falcon 9 has 9 Merlin engines, and those engines, I think they're Merlin engines. For some reason, I'm doubting myself right now.
That's the Merlin.
Yeah. That's what I think.
Sure.
So I'm glad we confirmed.
No idea.
But yeah, coming down, they relight, I think only 6 or so, or maybe just 5.
I thought it was 3.
Is it? All I know, it was basically what I was going to say.
3 and not down to 1.
Is it? Well, no, that's for the Starship. I'm talking about the Falcon 9.
No, for the Falcon 9.
Really? They do 3 and then they go down to 1 as well. Oh, so yeah, the flight profile for Starship is the exact. Well, it's kind of the exact same-ish. It doesn't have 9 engines. It only has a 3. But they decided after 8 and 9 that they are going to relight all 3 and then go down to 2 and then go down to 1. But yeah, the problem with the way the Falcon 9 does it is it makes it a lot more dirtier because the fuel that you're using, it generates a lot more soot. So that's why if you compare the two on re-entry so far, you can still tell that Starship looks shiny and or like white, but that's because it's so freaking cold. That's ice that's just developed on the side. But if you look at a Falcon 9 coming in on re-entry, it went up with it, kind of like black and white, but like when it comes down, the whole bottom is just black because of all that soot.
Yeah. Because you have to burn a lot of whatever you're burning to slow down that much metal.
Yeah, I can't remember what they're using. Also, I can't remember if it's kerosene or just methane, and for the Falcon 9s or for the Merlins. Yeah,
I just can't help but think, even since this is going to be meant for people,
rocket grade kerosene.
Oh god,
yeah, rocket grade kerosene. Yeah, so kerosene is what creates that soot.
Right. I can't help but think, like, since this is meant for people to fly in, what in the hell is that ride gonna feel like? When you're all of a sudden like this, and all of a sudden, boom.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's the thing with I don't know what their goal is with that. I don't know if they're going to be landing those constantly like that. I think the goal for at least the people transport ones, they're only going to have to do it once, I think. I don't think it's going to be like a constant doing that, because these ones are going to go to Mars and they're thinking just land on Mars, and then those are going to be like transformed into either little mini bases or just used for parts for Mars missions and stuff like that.
Gotcha. Okay.
I can't remember which. I'm pretty sure it was SpaceX, but this same rocket might be developed for like planetary coastal, so like U.S. to like Russia distance. They're thinking about transporting using Starship, but I don't know. Those are just, there's renders and weird. Yeah, like suborbital quick transport, like you could get from here to China in, a ridiculous like 2 hours or something like that.
Dang. I guess that makes sense. Yeah. Wow. So
they just go up that high and then come right back down.
Yeah. It'll be like a trip to Reno, barely enough time to get a drink of water served to you. That's about it.
I've done a lot of flights to Reno, and obviously I'm in Vegas, so it's like a 45-minute flight usually.
Yeah.
And it's just like you sit down, it's like, where's my Dr. Pepper? Where is it? And it's like, here's your Dr. Pepper. Oh, we're gonna need that back because it's already.
You better slam it because we gotta land. Yeah. That's how the flight was from between Kansas City and St. Louis. So yeah, same deal.
To Burbank as well. It's a short flight. Like I've had many a flight where like they've only served half the plane beverages just because they didn't have enough time to serve everyone.
Yeah.
When I was having to fly out to Florida, specifically Tampa, but the airline I use, their headquarters is in Atlanta. So no matter what, I would always have a stop in Atlanta first and then to Tampa. But they're so close that they wouldn't serve anything, like no drinks or anything, because it's just so quick. And usually I wouldn't mind that on like if I'm going there, because it's just Atlanta to Tampa. But when I'm starting that initial leg from Tampa to Atlanta and then Atlanta to usually Vegas or hopefully not another stop, it's much more lame on the east to west than west to east. Yeah. I think.
Ouch.
But yeah. So so that's what that launch was on Wednesday. The whole reason they're doing it, like I said, Mars, it's commercially funded, so it's not like government funded or anything like that. SpaceX, they're a private company right now, but I think SpaceX will always remain private, but they have their Starlink satellites that they're providing internet to rural areas, and we have actually a lot of shop members who are interested in it, and some of them who have gotten the equipment so far and they're testing it out. And it's pretty incredible and reliable, especially for the locations of where these people are getting their internet.
Yeah, I think 2 weeks ago we had
rocket fuel on.
Yeah. His handles. I literally remember the day I learned what his handle like meant, because I just always see it in chat. Now it was like in like 2014 or 2015 or something like that. But like he was offhand like saying it to somebody else, and I was like just like in the background, like just being a loser, like eavesdropping or something like that. And he's like, yeah, it means rocket fuel. And I'm like, oh my God, that's so clever. I'm like, crap.
I always thought it was just Chalox. I thought it was like the name of something from D&D or something, like, you know, Chalox the Destroyer or something. I didn't know. So,
I mean, hey, maybe he'll eventually change that.
maybe.
The Destroyer. But yeah, no, it's really cool. But so that company, SpaceX has said, I think they're going to branch out the Starlink stuff into its own IPO company, while SpaceX will still remain private. But I think the whole goal is they want to use this Starlink money to basically fund the Starship stuff to go to Mars.
That's hilarious. He's like, you know, I'm just gonna go ahead and launch this satellite company real quick, just, you know, to make some extra cash. You know, like people open an Etsy store. It's like, I need to make the rent this month. You know, the diamond mines have run out a long time ago, so I'm gonna go ahead and open up this satellite thing. That's where most of Elon Musk's money.
And and just thinking about right now, so like so far, what are we in, like 21 minutes into the show? We've only mentioned SpaceX so far because they just had that rocket launch, but there's still many other agencies out there. And another one that I was going to mention tonight is Rocket Lab.
Okay.
They're a New Zealand-based space company, rocket company. Obviously, it's in the name. And they're really cool. But they've always been launching like really small satellite stuff, just like really like small time, low Earth orbit launches. And the CEO, Peter, I can't remember his last name at the moment, but the CEO, he said sometime in like 2014, 2013, that what they plan to do with their company is like pretty much the electric type pump engines, because they're like different than like how like American or Russian rockets are built. And they're going into the reusable space, but they just said that like that's what they're going to do. That's what they're going to be good at. They're not going to be doing any like big time stuff like SpaceX is doing or ULA is doing or what Blue Origin eventually hopes to do. But there's a lot of memes around Blue Origin and they're terrible. Owned by Jeff Bezos. Amazon.
Oh, good. Okay.
Yeah, that's another one.
Was that one mostly like space tourism or?
Yeah, it's mainly for space tourism, but he's also helped develop like engines, like the Blue Origin like engines for things for like the Artemis program, or there's I think it's an Atlas V that's going to be taking off a ULA rocket that has these Blue Origin engines on it. But they want to be a space company. And yeah, they've launched things like I can't remember. I think New Horizons is going to be the new one that we haven't really seen much about yet. But they just haven't had many launches. But they're always talking about their incredible like feats. So there's just a lot of memes about Blue Origin. So back to Rocket Lab, the cool people. Rocket Lab, they announced last week that they are building a bigger rocket, and this rocket is also going to be capable of human transport, which was a huge shocker to everybody. But the big thing was the CEO said if they ever reached that point, he would eat his hat because he wasn't like that wasn't in their like goals, like their 5-year goals or anything like that.
Oh yeah, I think I saw the thing on that. So they across the Twitter.
Yeah, since they did it, he blended up his hat and ate some of his hat because a man of his word. He said he'd eat the hat, and he ate the hat, and everybody loved it.
So the eat the hat thing. Now, this is the guy from Rocket Labs.
Yeah, okay. Rocket Labs, the CEO. Yeah, Rocket Labs.
And he said if Elon Musk's, if SpaceX did no.
This is just his company.
Oh, okay.
Like because they're used to doing like small sats. They never expected or had goals really like large stretch goals in mind to turn their company into like the 8-ton, 12-ton class rocket ships like the Falcon 9.
Yeah.
Falcon 9, I think, unladen does like it's like maybe like 13 tons, but laden it can only do like 8. But yeah, so the CEO Peter, he just like said that they were never going to reach those goals. Well, not that they were never going to, but it wasn't in their
like, 5-year
aspirations
plan.
or no, like their plan was just like wasn't. They were good at what they were doing and what they had planned, but stuff like they're just really good at it. And they in like the last like 3 years, they got their second launch complex online in the US, so they could do US based launches, and then they got their third, but technically their second in New Zealand, but it's their third launch complex. So now they have 2 of them side by side in New Zealand as well, which is incredible for them. So that means they could really up their launches. Yeah. But yeah, he ate his hat, and it was such a good like just introduction to their new rocket called Neutron. Mm-hmm. And because their current rocket that they use all the time is called Electron, and so their newest rocket they've named Neutron. And he was at where he was sitting at the little dining table or whatever while he was eating his hat. He had this cool like background behind mm-hmm. him, but when he walked away, it was actually the payload fairing that he was basically in. Like he was in half of the payload fairing, and when it panned out, that was like oh my god, they are serious about launching a much bigger rocket than the whole Electron would fit in this fairing alone.
Oh,
and so yeah, it's like and so that was a really great announcement. And so I didn't want to be like just super hardcore SpaceX fanboy, because I'm not. I just really like watching their Starship progress, and they do have amazing feats in space, but yeah, just I really like what Rocket Lab is doing. So I think they're coming up on my favorite, or at least my second favorite space company. My first is not NASA.
I don't remember if it's this one or if it was some other, but they did like smaller rockets, but it was like you didn't have to have a dedicated launch facility for it. You could just like set up a rocket launch, like really with very minimal infrastructure to do it. I don't remember who it was.
I don't know if it was them. It could have been them when they had even a smaller rocket, and that's how they got to their Electron one. But I can't remember.
So I'm going to be a little bit of a, so I guess actually before we go there, one thing that is fascinating to me is like this was SN, what was it, SN 9 or 10? Was this 10?
This was 10.
This was 10. Yeah. So they've had basically 9 rockets, well, actually 10 total, that they sent up and just freaking exploded. Some of them didn't get off the ground and exploded.
Yeah, I mean, they all look very different. So like I think it was SN4, mm-hmm. SN3 or SN4 that just like imploded on itself. Like it just, I can't remember if it failed like a cryo test or something like that, but it basically just like
wow
itself.
I gotta look that one up.
Yeah, SN5 I think classified as Starhopper. That was the first like smaller with like like 3 or 4 like legs already outside, and kind of just did like a little hop and then landed mm-hmm. again using a Raptor engine. And then they made it a little bigger, and then it looked like a grain silo, and they put a huge lead weight on top to just balance things. And that one successfully just kind of went up. But these the ones before SN8, they were just like small hops, like you could like still over the landing pad, like 1,000 feet up or less, not even like 200 or less feet up. I don't know. But SN8 was the first, up to 12.5 kilometers. But yeah, all of them except for, most of them, stayed intact. But yeah, SN8, SN9, and SN10 have both been scrapped. and very violently so. They were SN8 and 9 more so. Yeah. SN10 crumpled, and at least you could still tell like what the fuselage was and like where the engines were. The other two, those Yeah, those hit.
Yeah,
really
they just kind of they hit.
Gorgy's gone.
I mean, from what from what I know, it's like their like philosophy is to kind of like fail early and often type of thing. So.
Totally, yeah. No, iterative development is definitely a thing with them. I mean, like it's basically agile development to the nth degree. There, like put out a series of small milestones and achieve those. Gorgy's Gone Wild says stream title is a lie. Guest is clearly streaming from Earth. Well, that's true, but this is about why he's on the moon, not why I'm on.
Or we could have been streaming from this moon from the entire time, and you just didn't know.
Oh, it's actually kind of funny though.
What's that?
At the SYN Shop, I've always said, because I'm one of the 9 directors at the SYN Shop.
Not a big deal.
Not a big deal. One of my other positions here is director of space or director of moon base operations.
You made that up.
Yeah, no, I definitely made that up.
Oh, okay, all right, cool.
I made that up in I don't know, it was like 2016 or 2017. I was like, oh, well, like if I'm just gonna before I became a secretary director here, I was just a director at large. And so I was like, well, I don't want to be just a director at large. Like, what else can I put after my name? I was like, if I make a business card or something, director of moon-based operations, when we eventually get there and put one of our maker spaces up there. I mean, where are the astronauts gonna go to? Yeah. So hey, I'm preparing.
If I can't laser cut something, when I'm there, I'm not interested. So.
Yeah,
I'm not interested in going.
So that actually leads me into another thing that I wanted to ask about. Like, is space tourism so? Well, I guess going back to my iterative development thing, right? So you've got all these literally billions of dollars going into this, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, so then, what in the world is space tourism going to get that back? Is space tourism going to be enough to do that? And if not, why?
I personally don't care about the space tourism.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, yeah, I guess that is a goal for some companies, but it's not like NASA's goal. Or anything like that. Like NASA's is still human exploration, the science and just what's out there, why is it out there, how to get it, just all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Like SpaceX and Blue Origin, they're eventually going to be going for the space tourism bits, and that's on their funding. Of course, there's probably some backdoor government contractual hey, we'll give you guys this credit or whatever. That's by the by. Is it overall worth it though? I think so. Just because I think it might be kind of depressing for us to.
So in order to get to the point where space tourism is viable and it's not just something that billionaires can afford to do, you'd have to get the cost of everything down to a level where it's just incredibly cheap to run those things.
And
that also benefits things because it also makes it incredibly cheap to put satellites and all that up. So even though we do have reusable rockets, it's still not a cheap venture to throw things up into space.
Mm-hmm.
What were you going to say, Zen?
I can't remember.
No. Gorgeous Gone Wild says, I assumed it was a method of funding actual missions. Example, 10 people go up and pay $10 million each, and the funds pay for fuel, manning, and parts to send up the space stuff in their cargo hold. Definitely one way to do it, for sure.
I mean, yeah, they with SpaceX's Dragon capsule.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely, they have a huge trunk, so to speak, for additional cargo that does not need to be pressurized, to build additional stuff or just transport additional stuff into space. If they're science equipment or science experiments, those usually are in the crew area in the crew storage, because it's pressurized obviously in there and not out in atmosphere or with no atmosphere in space. So yeah, I mean, they definitely will be using those funds to do that and bringing up additional space stuff during these, tourist missions. I mean, I don't know if they're going to be doing that, like, say, with the Inspiration 4 mission that's coming up in, I think, Q4 of this year, which is going to be the first all-civilian space crewed mission. So it's a billionaire, and he has 3 additional spots. One of them is going to a St. Jude's like winner for like a charity. The other, one of the other seats is like a contest for his Shift 4 like businesses, like medium size, large. I don't know what the Shift 4 stuff does. And then I can't remember the process. Oh, is that what they do?
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
They're actually in Vegas.
Yeah, I think I recall that now. I think someone said that in the shop channel. But yeah, so CEO is gonna go do it. A St. Jude's like charity winner. If you donated, you'll get randomly selected. I think it's randomly selected. I don't know. Somebody else is gonna go in front of like a panel of judges, and like their business idea or something might. I don't know. But that'll be interesting because it's obviously like the first of its kind. They're still going to receive astronaut training, like all that. Like they have to go to where's Hawthorne, California, I think, for SpaceX's like headquarters, and get like they'll be receiving like full on training and whatnot, and go through all the simulations and learn everything about the vehicle.
I wonder if they
it's automated,
get to. I wonder if they get to keep their spacesuits, because the spacesuits are custom fit per person.
Not only are the spacesuits custom fit per person, but the seats are also custom fit for you. So every seat in there is customly made for your fit. So do they get to keep their seat as well?
I mean, that would make a hell of an office chair.
Heck yeah, it would.
It'd be pretty comfortable. I don't know if it'd be better than the Aeron, but I'm not sure. But you know, one thing that is definitely better than an Aeron is the mid-show break. That's the part where I tell you that this program is being brought to you on behalf of the SYN Shop. We're at Maker Hackerspace, located in Las Vegas, Nevada. Now, if you would like to find out more information about the shop, you can just go to synshop.org. You can see it right down, other side, all the way down the other corner, down there somewhere. You can see it down there. And
you're
check
just pointing at Zenifi.
Well, but here, fine. There, now it's down there. Something approximately like that. There it is. Okay. Anyway, you know where it is. It's down there. But check that out. Check out the shop. If you're in the Vegas area, you want to come help out the shop, because we are in the process of getting back in action after our remodel here. If you'd like to come and help out with the shop, you can do that by going to our Discord at synshop.org/Discord. Oh, and also, if you would like to get your very own snazzy SYN Shop t-shirt, you can head on over. You can just type !merch in the chat if you're watching us on Twitch, and you can get yourself some fine quality SYN Shop merch. All right, so yeah, getting back to the thing here. Okay, so here's my question. And this is kind of why I brought up the tourism thing. What is there are some people that would say, "Oh my God, we're spending all this money to send people to the moon," which is, kind of a tie-in to the title of the show, if for those that know. But we're spending all this money to send people to the moon. What are we getting out of it? So I'm going to put that question to you guys. What do we get out of sending people to space?
Well, that's a different question than the first one. Sending people to the moon, or just sending people to space?
Well, let's just say space in general. The original song was about sending people to the moon.
Like, robots and satellites, etc. I mean, so a good portion of space missions are there to help terrestrial type things. So, there's stuff that studies the weather on the Earth, or has tides, satellites that scan the Earth to measure like soil humidity or moisture levels for to help farming, and other scientific missions in that, right? And then of course you have communication satellites and GPS satellites and all that stuff that, people use on a daily basis for, the quality of living. So, I don't have to remember how to get down to a local Walmart or whatever. But.
Well,
yeah. I mean, that's just it. It's just, So is it worth it going to space? Yes. Because like Krux said, there's a lot of benefits that we receive from it, a lot of information we learn for quality of life purposes for humans on Earth. But also we're trying to figure out, just additional questions we have by going out further. And so for things like going to the moon, like why would we go back to the moon? That's mainly to create like almost like a gateway per se. There's a lot of papers written about like the Lunar Gateway, or the gateway to the universe is the moon. And that's because if we could get to the moon and we could have kind of like full-blown operations there, like refueling, it'll be a lot easier to send stuff out in additional directions, or like probes, or just additional scanning, because we're already so far away from Earth's gravity. Because the hardest thing right now about getting stuff out anywhere is the gravity in the orbital plane that we're on, especially because the sun is going to really screw things up too. So
stupid.
Yeah. That
we should just go at night. I don't know what the problem is.
Yeah. Just go when the sun's not there. Like, it's not here right now. I'm looking at it. See.
It's fine. Yeah. Gorgie's Gone Wild in the chat says, future-proofing your country, sovereignty, reliance on other countries, so a long-term goal. I mean, yeah, well, that's an interesting point, though, actually, because, like, we used to be, like, it used to be pretty much, just us and Russia and, what? Did India get someone to the moon yet, or no? Can't remember.
No, it's just, I mean, it's just the U.S. that's actually landed people on the moon, I think.
Oh, okay, not Russia? I thought Russian...
I mean, there's been... Other countries have landed like probes on the moon.
Yeah, like probes and rovers.
Like Russia sent stuff. China, I thought India did.
India did. Theirs did not make it. Well, at least their most recent mission. I think it was in 2020 July, if I recall. Maybe they launched.
I mean, there's also that secret base Germany has there. Everyone,
that one's on the dark side of the moon. But yeah,
just when you think they're gone, you think they're gone, you think you got them beat. Turns out they're on the dark side of the moon the whole time. Freaking
And so only 18 people have landed on the moon, if I recall. Only 18, and they are all Americans. Maybe it was 18 people went to lunar orbit, but only 15 actually put their boots on the ground. I can't remember, because somebody always had to stay up in orbit in the lunar orbiter. Yeah, having you being one of 3 guys, just being alone up there orbiting the moon while the other 2 go down.
Yeah, man. Do you think that they were kind of like, oh man, I hope I don't get the short straw. Do you think like all 3 of them like get together at a bar like once a year or something like that? And like,
I mean, for surviving it.
So the link you posted just gets filtered out because of spam bots, but supposedly it's 12.
Is it 12 who landed on the moon, or?
United States is the only country to ever put people on the moon. Oh, okay. Russia, Japan, China, the ESA, and India have all made visits to the moon via probes. Yeah. Got it. Okay, thank you. Appreciate that. Huh.
Yeah, and I was going to mention, like the ESA and stuff like that. And all of them have presence. Well, not all of them, actually. Only, I think, Russia, Japan, and ESA have a presence on the ISS.
That makes sense. On the space station?
Yeah. I know, on the International Space Station. I mean, I absolutely know China's not. They're not invited.
They probably...
Because they have too many demands, and they also want to come up and like ride share and stuff like crazy, like low cost, because they're just trying to play hardball, and we also don't trust them. So
I heard recently that they're actually planning on launching their own space station.
Yeah, they are. There's a lot of
And then they're going to sell it at Harbor Freight.
Yeah.
You can get two of them with a coupon. $400.
I don't know if I'd trust it. I mean, those jack stands didn't fare well.
Oh no, they don't. They're not made to work. They're made to be sold. But what do we got here? Titan says, how hard would it be to get a rocket to the moon just to bring back a coffee can full of gravel? I mean, it would be every bit.
It's a lot of Delta V.
Yeah, you gotta put it on. Yeah, Saturn V rocket. Centaur soon, or Vulcan from ULA. Well,
that's kind of the thing, isn't it?
Getting stuff to the moon and back, that's not too crazy hard. There's a lot of questions. I mentioned this to a friend earlier. I saw a tweet this week by Tori Bruno, who's the CEO of ULA, the United Launch Alliance. And they build like the Delta IV heavies and the Delta V rockets and all that. Atlas rocket. They've put a lot of like the satellites, like the geosynchronous satellite stuff for like intelligence, government stuff. They do a lot of that. They also launched the Mars rover, which also was a big thing that recently landed on February 18th. The Perseverance rover successfully landed on Mars. That's another thing to mention for this show, because that's a huge thing. 7 months of travel, and then its descent, and then landing successfully. And that's crazy, the pictures that we've gotten back from that, and trying to search for signs of life and water and Jezero crater on Mars. But anyways, Tori Bruno, somebody asked him about all like the space debris and stuff that gets, like when you launch up stuff, not everything comes back down, lands in the ocean. It kind of just gets sent on like a junk orbit, like a lunar trash orbit, so to speak.
Yeah.
And somebody's question was
parking orbit.
Yeah, the parking orbit, the trash parking orbit. So somebody asked him, like, how hard would it be, or like, why don't we just shoot stuff directly into the sun to get rid of it? Because why not? It's a sun. It'll anything gets near it, it's not going to be good. Anyways, you can't get that close to it. Yeah, it's really hard to get that close to the sun. I think,
it's incredibly hard to get enough.
I think you have to
Delta V in order to actually get to the sun.
Yeah, like the Parker Solar Probe, which is doing probe stuff around the sun. Even that was like extremely hard, and just like, maybe it's gonna do it. We don't know. Because I think it's like 69,000 kilometers an hour
orbiting around the sun, like really, really fast. And so you have to counter that.
I think we're going like, you have to count. So basically, just to start making any progress towards the sun, you have to be going like 70,000 kilometers an hour at least.
Can't you just get it out of Earth's orbit, out of Earth's gravitational pull, and then the sun's the biggest thing in town, so wouldn't it eventually pull itself towards it?
No.
It won't it's gonna try and force itself into an orbit. The reason why the Earth also isn't just getting closer and shooting towards is because of the mass and orbit that we're in. But actually, if you're trying to get to the sun, you got to catch up to the freaking thing because it is going.
Oh, because it's on the move, right?
Yeah, like picture this. So when we launched in July of 2020, July 2020, the Perseverance rover to Mars, Mars was like back here while Earth was in front of it, like well distance in front of it, and they shot the thing in front of its orbital plane, so Mars would catch up to Percy. And Perseverance would land.
Percy.
Same thing is going to be, that's what a lot of the JPL people, the NASA Jet Propulsion Laboratory, just nicknamed it Percy.
Sure.
And so on all the news conferences I've been watching, they will drop the nickname sometimes. And there's a lot of memes about it, so that's why.
Sure.
But if you are trying to actually get to the sun, it's gonna be a while unless you have a really, really fast freaking rocket.
Wow. Okay. Well, that makes a lot
'cause
more sense.
You're
now.
already going so fast that in order to get to the sun, if you don't counteract the speed, you're just going to get spun out into a further orbit. So
Yeah, and and if you get stuck in that and you run out of fuel, that's it. You're screwed. That's it.
You'll eventually drift into the sun, or no, I guess not. You'll just kind of like hang out.
Eventually, you'll probably just die from radiation. I mean, yeah, you'll just.
It won't be fun. It will not be fun. Like that's for sure.
No, it won't be fun.
Yeah,
that is not the space tourism trip that you want to be on.
I mean,
probably not as bad as.
Although why you bought the ticket that said you're going to go into the sun in the first place?
Yeah.
If we put the right people on the plane, I'm just saying, maybe. No, I'm kidding. I'm in Minecraft parody. So, but Titans brings up an interesting point. How hard would it be to get a rocket to the moon just to bring back a coffee can full of gravel? The thing is that it doesn't matter how much you're bringing back, because it does. But whether you're going there for gravel or for several tons of gravel, getting to the moon in the first freaking place, I think is
getting there, just the amount of like propulsion that you need to just get to the moon accurately and get into its lunar orbit without overshooting it or something like that. Because if you do a mistake and you have to burn extra fuel that wasn't originally calculated, and you only got so much of that because there ain't no 7-Eleven you could stop by.
Yeah, no, that's true. I imagine in the future you can stop at any corner drugstore and get some plutonium.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
I mean, that's part of the goals of Starship as well. They're going to have different versions of it, like I said. They're going to have the ones that take humans, so they're going to be like human cargo starships. There's just going to be like strictly cargo or like unpressurized cargo space, like how the space shuttle took up parts of the International Space Station and mass and then just deploy it with its like Canada arm. So Starship's going to have something similar like that, but they're also going to have refueling starships. So they're going to be starships where the whole freaking thing is just a fuselage to refuel other spacecrafts in space.
Wow. So that's the point of Starship. I always thought the point was just so that the people from Jefferson Airplane had something to do.
Yeah. Exactly.
A little bit. So let's see. Gorgie Scott Wild says, why you should be the first to set up space bases. 7-Eleven selling fuel. There you go. Yeah. I don't know. Construction on the moon, man. Ever since I saw the movie, what was that movie? Time Machine. They did a remake of Time Machine. It was like 2001. It might have been like late 90s or something like that. It was generally forgettable, but this guy, it's the old H.G. Wells story. A guy falls asleep in a time machine and fast forward several thousand years, and he gets out, and it turns out there was a construction project on the moon, and they used explosives and blew the moon in half, and chaos ensued.
Yeah.
So don't do that. Don't do that. Tom says, then I need to send you a video about the fuel rats from Elite Dangerous.
Oh, I know about the fuel rats from Elite Dangerous. Oh. I play a lot of Elite Dangerous.
I don't know about the fuel rats from Elite Dangerous.
Fuel rats in Elite Dangerous is a community of fellows who, if you get stuck out in deep space playing, so Elite Dangerous also is a space game. You could do many things in this incredible 1-to-1 scale galaxy video game. It's incredible. There's a lot of things you could do in it. One, fly a spaceship, and you could do things like mine, PvP, like you just shoot down other things. You could be a pirate. You could just transport stuff. A lot of stuff. But fuel rats, so let's say you're just like an explorer and you've just been jumping from star to star and you weren't looking at your fuel gauge, or you're listening to your AI say, hey, you're low on fuel, or don't do this. If you get stuck out in deep space, you could call the fuel rats. They have a Discord server. They have a website. You tell them the system you're in, and they bring their ships that are outfitted with fuel transfer modules, and they pull up alongside you and they give you fuel and go on your way, and that's it. And they're a great bunch of people. I saw on the subreddit like a week ago or something, someone killed a fuel rat, like a pirate, like shot down a fuel route, which is like Geneva Convention style, like don't shoot the medics type stuff. And yeah, a lot of people went after that guy. The guy did not survive. He was killed. So yeah, don't mess with the fuel routes. They're good people. They're just trying to help. Like they don't run with armaments or hard points or anything.
They're just trying to do their jobs, okay?
That was another thing I was going to mention. Yeah.
What's that?
Yeah, just let them do their damn jobs.
Oh wow.
But anyways, yeah. So
well, we're gonna have Tom. Actually, Thomas is going to be joining us in the post game show. Oh, that reminds me of. Well, you know what? I'll tell you about that in a minute because in about 10 minutes we're going to be going to the post game anyhow. So let's see. Gorgeous Gone Wild again says while NASA apparently creates amazing things during the process of doing their thing, I wonder how much, if anything, is discovered from the moon itself. For example, if they developed the zipper or Velcro in order to make a spacesuit, that is wonderful. But has anyone brought back anything useful to humanity from space itself? That is a good question. I.e. space dust that cures cancer. That would be hilarious. But so yeah, has anything been brought back from space that has like helped us?
I mean, actually, we've really not brought a lot from space. Like they had the one space probe that they shot through a comet and brought some like bits back
a Japanese space vehicle. I think recently managed to drill a bit out of an asteroid or a comet or something.
The first one, like, it did not land well, but they recovered some stuff. It was some time ago. I forget which mission that was, but yeah, there's a new one that they're getting stuff back. I don't know when that actually gets sent back. I think it's like a couple of years, but
yeah, I don't think there's anything necessarily that we've brought back or developed. For example, like a zipper or Velcro. I mean, I know different types of propulsion and things like that, energy efficient or fuel consumption type like processes have been developed and then utilized from space. I mean, things like GPS and stuff wouldn't have come about if we didn't go or do stuff for space. Like that's why GPS and whatnot was created in the first place, was for military or governments just to, show they have a bigger stick.
Yeah. So actually that kind of brings me to one thing I did want to try to squeeze in here, because we only got like about 7 minutes left on the main show here. But so, okay, I was kind of going over this a little bit before the show, okay, you've got in the 40s, you've got some Germans that are very interested in rocketry, let's say, and then, they have a bad time of things. And so some of them come to the United States and they say, hey, I like rockets. I don't like prisons. So here, have some rockets. And so kind of that was sort of the beginning of us making a lot of progress, at least in rocketry and jets and all that stuff. So from there, we started NASA, right? I think like this feels correct. If I'm wrong on any of this, feel free to raise your hand and be like, no, that's crazy talk. But we start NASA. That goes fine for a while, and then we stop doing NASA. And why did we stop doing NASA? What was the point behind that?
I mean, it wasn't necessarily that I don't think we like fully like stopped, but the
space shuttle
down
drastically.
Yeah, we slowed down and cut back significantly. Kind of. I mean, the shuttle program was still just abysmally expensive. So that, I mean, while we've gained a lot from it, we have been conducting and doing a lot of experiments, like up in space through the International Space Station, which was mostly transported using the space shuttle program. I mean, I don't know.
So basically,
there were issues with how inefficient the shuttle program was.
Yeah.
And so there's a good reason why we don't fly the shuttle anymore.
Because it's too expensive and
it was not great. It was a lot of it wasn't as reusable as it was sold to.
Yeah,
Hmm.
and what Titan said.
And he said, we choose to
Yeah,
go to the moon.
so newer systems like what SpaceX uses, or even smaller non-reusable rockets are more efficient to get things into orbit.
So
So why is it that it seems like all of the space exploration kind of got handed over to private companies then? Like why did that happen? Like I get you want to discontinue the space shuttle, okay, cool. Move on to something else.
mhm.
But why did that all get basically privatized?
I mean, because they, the other administrations just kind of slowed down and didn't want to focus on it anymore, and so there were still engineers and people out there wanted to do more stuff for space, things like Starlink and just satellites for their countries or some reason or another.
Mhm.
I mean, yeah, that's really it.
Because okay. So the reason that we so the reason that we stopped doing the reason that we stopped
easier?
I think somebody lost somebody. I'm not sure. I think Krux may have glitched out. Yeah. He'll be back again one day. And today is that day.
Yeah,
There he is.
I don't see. Yeah, I don't see.
Yeah,
Krux anymore.
all the audio from you guys just went away, and
that's weird.
the video froze, so I restarted.
Oh, okay. Weird. Well,
Oh.
so okay. So basically, what it sounds like to
So
me.
what were we saying?
Lost. Why did everything go privatized rather than just developing a different space vehicle? Was basically my question. What you were saying, Zen, was
yeah. I mean, well, I don't. It. Yeah, it's just that NASA didn't really want to. Oh, it sounds like you're lagging.
Now you're back.
I'm lagging or something.
Wow, that's weird. Okay, you're back. Wow.
Oh, am I lagging?
You're fine. You're fine now. You're good.
Yeah, suddenly everyone in the neighborhood's downloading everything from the internet.
Yeah, I don't know what the heck happened there. They're onto us.
It sounds like I'm still like someone's lagging and then I'm lagging. I don't know who's lagging.
They're trying to keep our message from getting out, folks. I've seen the documents. If you look into Operation COINTELPRO, you can tell that they don't want these podcasts to get out because we're telling the Americans the real truth. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, all right. So the world may never know why we outsourced all the things, but you know what?
I think it's ultimately to
It's like every time
save money. I think it's ultimately cheaper to pay private industry to send things up into space for you than to spend a huge amount of R&D to develop things and continue to maintain things. But I don't know.
See, it's weird. It feels to me like if you can. Oh, that's really strange. It's really weird to hear that because it's like, it sounds to me like the research is going to cost what the research cost. It sounds to me like there's too many grifters grifting, and I guess maybe that's going to just be a part of any government agency, and I maybe that's the difference. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, so like even like for like military vehicles, that's all essentially. The government isn't they're funding the research to have those vehicles made, but it's a company that's actually making it. So.
Right. So it's like, we and see that is one thing that does kind of get me. Like whenever you have, maybe this might be a little far. Whenever you have public dollars put into a private company, and then that private company turns around and makes it somewhere that doesn't even support American jobs, that's kind of like, hey. But that's just me.
Yeah, I mean, though a lot of those companies that get invested in, they are creating American jobs. And
that's true.
So
There's
you
a lot
have like, you have, not only are you, creating jobs, then those people are then spending money and hiring people for things that they need, and so it all kind of it benefits a lot larger footprint than you might initially think. So like an example is I used to work on a government contract, and that contract had like thousands of people that it was hiring, that working in an area, and then that contract shut down, and it was now in like the 50s, and a lot of businesses in that area went under because they did not have the same amount of business being brought into them, because those people weren't there anymore. They moved to other areas of the city because where that area was not they didn't live there. They commuted into that area, and therefore they were no longer spending their money in that area, and then therefore the businesses went under.
So Gorgies has a great point, and I think I'll probably end with this here. She I believe says maybe they realize that if they do not allow private corps to launch stuff in the United States, they will do it anyways, but in another country. So they decided to allow it here and fully support it. Tesla said "F you" to us and built some stuff in China as a result. But yeah, I can kind of see that, like, as so it's kind of like, if you don't let us do it here, we'll do it. Maybe not even necessarily China, Switzerland, or wherever. And then that technology goes out the door. I guess I kind of get it. I would like to think at least that the U.S. has more people that are good at developing that stuff, but maybe not. I don't know. What are your thoughts?
I think
I don't know. There's smart people all over the place, but
yeah. True. Well, fair enough. Well, speaking of,
hear me again or no?
Yeah, you're good. You're fine.
yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, good. Yeah, now you guys sound fine for me now.
As soon as you ask, that's when it goofs up. So I'll tell you what. Speaking of smart people everywhere, the smartest people that I know of are the people who are on Twitch right now. Why would you say that? That's weird. Well, the reason why is because if you're watching us on Twitch right now, you get a whole nother hour of this show. So if you like what you have right now, you're going to get more of that. If you don't like what you have right now, you are going to have a terrible time. But if you're on YouTube, number one, welcome to Saturday, because this won't be posted till tomorrow. And this would be the end of the road for you. But if you're on Twitch, like I said, whole nother hour. And yeah. So we're going to go ahead and take a quick break for just a second. Show you some ads for some paper towels. I'm going to grab a beer, and we'll come back. And Zenifi, you have to depart from us, unfortunately. But fortunately, good news, we have Thomas Desano. What's that?
I said I got to head back to the moon.
Yeah, well, he's got to go back to the moon, guys.
Yeah,
He's got. That's why he's on the moon.
Yeah. He's
got to take care of his sister Nell. That's why he's on the moon. But waiting in the wings right now, we've got Thomas Desano, and he's going to be joining us for the post game, and that will be awesome. So yeah, we will bring him in shortly. We're going to take a quick break. We will be right back. I am, of course, the Mighty Pong.
I'm Krux.
Is Zenifi?
There he is. And we'll see you in about, 5 minutes-ish. Yeah.
2 shakes of a lamb's tail.
There you go. 3 if I'm feeling frisky. All right, be right back.